The best of Money Matters. Right Business.
Welcome to The Right Business, where we dive deep into the stories of trailblazers who dare to disrupt the status quo, find the gap in the market to find the right business. Hello, I'm Hongbin Jeong. Collecting has always been a passionate pursuit for many, whether it's trading cards, sneakers, comic books, art, the list goes on. But in today's digital age, collectors are looking for new ways to discover, buy, and sell authentic pieces safely and seamlessly. That's where Collektr comes in. As Asia's premier live stream bidding platform for collectibles, Collektr is transforming how enthusiasts connect, trade, and build their collections all in real time. And since launching in 2023, the platform has already hosted over 100,000 collectibles from verified sellers and is gearing up for regional expansion. So to share more about how live streaming is changing the game for collectors and how Collektr is leading the way, joining us today is Adlin Yusman, who is the founder and CEO of Collektr. Hi, Adlin. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me on the show. It's an amazing opportunity here.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Well, Adlin, what sparked the idea for Collektr? Was there a personal story that pushed you to build a live stream platform for collectibles?
I've been a collector since I was 6 years old.
Oh.
I was a huge geek. Yeah, I was a huge geek. I was collecting toys like most kids, right, growing up. And then from toys, I went to comic books. And then as I got into my teenage years, went to trading cards. Essentially, my entire life has been about collecting, memorabilia, mainly in pop culture, right? As you grow up a bit older, you go into watches, you go into cars. Everybody has a collecting journey, but mine began very early and I never stopped.
Wow. Okay. So what was that moment you were like, maybe I should create a platform for collectibles?
One thing I realized is the fact that, we're based in the same region, right? So Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines. The issue with us is the fact that, number one, selection for our region is not the same as, say, the US, Europe, or Japan, right? That's one. Second, also, whenever you sell stuff online to other big platforms, you might think that you're going to get scammed when you buy from someone and the product never gets shipped to you, right? But sometimes as a seller, and this has happened to me 4 times on big global marketplaces, where I sold legitimate products, authentic products, and then the buyer claims that they weren't authentic, and then they got refunded. I never got my product back.
Oh, no.
And that was a horrible experience. It's horrible.
Oh, wow. I did not know those problems existed through platforms. I mean, we see people on TikTok and other, platforms live streaming collectibles from figurines to trading cards. Plus, there are already established marketplaces, both physical and online. So, Adlin, why did you decide the world needed Collektr? What makes it so different?
First and foremost, it's about, as I mentioned earlier, authentic products, right? So I completely agree with you. TikTok is huge. It's a huge social discovery platform. They have Shop Now, and they do very well, right? But at the same time, you can buy anything and everything. So assuming if you look at, say, TikTok today, it's a very big shopping mall, and it's got everything in it, right? Whereas for us, it's a unique place. Like, for example, you go to a particular place that you're comfortable with. You go to a tech hard gadget store to find certain gadget products. They'll be deep into that particular, vertical. Same like us. If you're looking for authenticated products, whether it's handbags, whether it's trading cards, whether it's comic books, when you're buying from us, the sellers have been rigorously vetted. And then you're also ensured that no matter what happens, we will protect both buyer and seller. So you're going to get a product, you're going to make sure it's legit, and you're going to make sure that whatever you pay is secure.
Well, since launching in April 2023, you've already hosted over 100,000 collectibles from verified sellers, which is incredible growth in such a short time. What do you think has fueled that rapid adoption? And did you face any challenges while scaling so quickly?
If you really think about it, my parents' generation, or most of the kids who grew up in the 80s, 90s, the parents who grew up in the 50s, 60s, 70s, you could buy houses cheap, right? You could buy HDB flats in Singapore for very, very cheap back then, right? Today it's crazy, right? So what did the newer generation of today invest in? So most of them go into collectibles. The newest ones obviously is Labubu, right, from PopMart. And you see that growth, because of the fact that, guess what, you're buying something for $20 and you can find chase inside that's worth 100 times or 20 times that amount, right? So in some ways it is essentially a new age asset class, which is why you're seeing the boom of collectibles right now. So people who are saying, hey, look, I may not be able to buy a brand new, say, Rolex, because you can never buy a brand new Rolex, right? It's always sold out. But I can probably buy 10 or 15 Labubus, and that could be a small portion of my asset class, right? And I think that's where you're seeing a lot of the newer generation investing into collectibles. And the older ones like myself, which have been collecting since we were young, who are now kids becoming adults, are reinvesting into nostalgia. So it's a nice mixture of both worlds coming together.
Yeah, and I am also the victim of buying Labubus that are more than the retail price because I can never get my hands on them. But anyways.
There you go. Thanks for keeping the economy going, Hongbin.
You're welcome. Anyways, Adlin, how would you describe the platform and what, first-time users can expect when they sign up?
Okay, so two things. You're signing up as a user, then it's pretty straightforward. You sign up, you pick what kind of category you want to see. If for example, you want to look at Labubus, you want to look at sneakers, shoes, or handbags, then the algorithm will obviously show you only the things you want to see. So you're not going to get, plastered with a bunch of stuff you don't want to see. That's one. Now, from the seller side, then it's a bit more rigorous, right? We look at your ID. So if you're Singaporean, we look at every single steps, where do you live, your business ID, your address, to make sure you're legitimate, you have a business premise if you're a business. And if you're a user and you're trying to sell, we want to make sure that you are also legit. We check your social profile. So we do a 360 vetting on you if you're not a store owner, right? Now, the layer above that is the AI. So, for example, Hongbin, you're going to love this. You can go home, if you register as a seller, we'll approve you. I mean, you seem trustable, right, Hongbin? When you register as a seller, now when you're a seller, there's a specific tool for you that you can use, which is the AI element. You click a photo of your Labubu, any one of them, it will give you an estimate of what the price is, and the AI will tell you what exactly you have.
No way, that's so cool.
You don't have to spend time. Insane. It's insane. So you don't have to look for the name of the Labubu, you don't have to look for what it was last sold, everything. It's just one snap, click, just sell.
Oh.
With the prices, with the description, all done for you.
Okay, so you go through that vetting process, especially for sellers here. Is there, one thing a seller has put up on Collektr and it was like the weirdest product ever?
See, that's unfair, Hongbin. That's a loaded question. What is weird to you could be cool to me.
True.
So, I mean, no one's selling, live. Okay, weirdly enough. Okay, you might find this weird, and I think a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. They were selling live goldfish because they are collectibles.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's
At
very
the beginning,
interesting.
in our first year, we had people selling goldfish in the thousands of dollars, and they were selling.
Oh, they were selling. People were buying it.
There's a big collector community for goldfishes. Just because we don't know it doesn't mean it's not out there.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. I apologize to anyone who is collecting goldfishes out there. Didn't know that was a thing. But anyways, Adlin, you also launched a grading service on Collektr. Can you tell us more about how it works and what led you to add this feature to the platform?
Okay, so let's quickly rewind to the purpose of what grading is for. Mm-hmm. When gradings were invented probably in the late 80s, it's to grade the authenticity of sports cards in the US. That's how it began, right? To make sure it's not faked, right? Now, in the last 5 to 10 years, it's not just grading to make sure it's authentic, it's also to ensure the value of the grade itself. So it grades from, say, 1 to 10. So when it goes from, say, 8, 9, 10, it goes into what we call a population report. Meaning, for example, let's say your Pokemon card is now a 10 and there's only 30 in the world. Now you have 1 of 30, right? Therefore, a 10, which is graded for card, can be valued maybe 5 to 6 times more than a raw.
Oh,
so this, in and of itself, is a business. So good graded cards, it's a business because it multiplies the value of the asset. Not just cards, comics, signed jerseys, you name it.
So it's everything can be graded, like even Labubus?
Yeah, for sure. Labubus can be graded, for sure. I don't think we can grade goldfish, though.
Okay. Well, I mean, if we look at the collecting market, authenticity and trust is, huge issues in the collectibles space. So how do you ensure that buyers are getting genuine products and not counterfeits? And vice versa, that buyers are claiming. You told us the story about how the buyer said it wasn't authentic and never got the product back. How do you trust that buyer as well?
I love that question, right? So we put a lot of effort to make sure that never happened to me and a lot of other people doesn't happen to, say, you, right? So first and foremost, as we mentioned, we have a 3-strike rule, right? So if the first time someone sells something, because to be honest, sometimes you may have bought a collection from someone and you don't know, maybe 1 out of 100 items that you bought could not be authentic. It was not intentional. It's not malicious, right? Now, it happens again the second time, then it becomes suspicious. Now, is this person not knowing or is he putting in 1 or 2 fake items among the hundreds that he or she is selling, right? So that's one. So that's the human element to it, to make sure that there's no repeat cases, then it's an immediate ban afterwards, right? Now, from the seller side, assuming I'm sending you an authentic product and then the buyer claims it's not, then there's in-depth investigation for 2 reasons. One is when an item is above $1,000 US, we will make sure that these are checked. The items are checked by people, physical people working for collectors, to ensure that the products were already authenticated by us and it will be fulfilled by us. So, example, we've just sold a $25,000 card to an American, and the seller from Malaysia was concerned because he's like, hey, what if I send the card and the guy in the US say it's not real, right? So again, it's now authenticated. It's a collector guarantee that it's authentic. Therefore, we ensure that nothing's going to happen once the sale's done.
Right. Well, also last year you raised $1.3 million in your pre-Series A round. Congratulations on that milestone. But how do you plan to use this funding to take Collektr to the next stage?
So we raised that around probably middle last, right? So it's about a year now. So we used that round to scale to Singapore. So we're already in Singapore. Malaysia is still our main market. So uniquely enough, Hongbin, what you want to see is a business like ours is technically borderless from design or by design because of the fact that collectors will find a place to buy or source for products that they want. Because in and of itself, collectibles are scarce, right? So it doesn't matter where it comes from, so long as the platform is authentic, seller is authentic, likely you will find buyers from all over the world. So right now, in terms of what we've done with the funding, Malaysia is still our number one market because we launched here. Second to which, in terms of buyers, is Singapore. But second, in terms of number of users, is the US.
All right.
So the US is our second biggest,
Amazing. Well, Adlin, I mean, we talked about collectibles like labubus and even goldfish listed on Collektr. But are there, particular categories that have been especially popular or fast-growing on Collektr lately?
The biggest category that's been technically since day one for us has been trading cards because the world knows the fact that, your Pokemons, your Magic the Gatherings, all these sort of mainstays of trading cards has been on the uptrend. Are we in a bubble? We don't know because the growth has been sustaining itself for the past 3 to 4 years. And there are more now buyers buying into the TCG space as collectors versus coming in as players, right? So that base of people buying just to collect is growing. Now that's our main, revenue driver for the past couple of years. Now where we're seeing the most unique growth organically is comic books.
Okay.
It's very interesting, Hongbin, because in Singapore, maybe there's 10, 12 comic book stores, maybe even less. Malaysia, there's only 2 comic book stores.
Oh, really?
They went completely extinct because guess what? Post the 90s, the kids who grew up in the 2000s started going in online video games. Then the comic book stores don't bring comics anymore. So comic books started to die down. But then when Marvel came in and DC came in and started making movies, now they want to look for these books. But hey, guess what? There's not enough comic book stores to support the growing need, right? So comics became a safe haven for us in Collektr because guys who are buying comics directly from the US or from other, buyers and resellers started to stream on the platform. So that is the biggest organic growth for us, in last year. So comics was a surprising category growth for us.
Oh, very interesting. Have you noticed any shifts in, who the typical collector is these days? Is the demographic changing or new types of collectors emerging?
Let's zoom in on Labubu, which is interesting. Who do you think is the main demographic that buys Labubus?
Girls.
Male or female?
Females, yeah.
Nah.
Really?
Males. Yeah, this is not anecdotal. These are stats. 78% of Labubu buyers on Collektr are males.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's males because they are buying it for their girlfriend, their wives?
There you go. Does it matter? It doesn't matter where it's going, but who's buying, right? So that's where it gets unique. So I guess what's funny about this collectible space is the fact that you don't know where it's coming from, but where it's going at the end of the day is ultimately between both male and female sort of purchasing routines, right? Because, look, I may see a couple of Birkin bags being bought, but the Birkin bags may have been bought by males who are buying it for their wives, right? So when you're nailing it down, you're right, it could end up being as a gift for someone. But the truth is this, how sure are we that the Labubus aren't being bought by men to ensure that, guess what, they're buying it to resell?
Oh, okay. Makes sense. They have a business mindset where turning Labubus into monetary terms. But anyways, Adlin, before we let you go here, looking ahead, what's next for Collektr? Are there any exciting features, collaborations, or markets you're particularly excited about?
You literally gave me the right question. My co-founder just dropped in and gave me a big piece of A4 paper to mention what's next. So thanks for asking the question. You saved me right here. So the next big launch is we're launching fashion and lifestyle in a big way, right? Yes, because I think the one thing that we're not missing by design, but because we were focusing on the main verticals of pop culture before, right? We wanted to ensure that, look, when we launch fashion and lifestyle, whenever we launch a new vertical, we want to make sure that the depth of the vertical is deep. So we're launching with 100 new merchants selling handbags all the way from, I find it's ironic because this doesn't come from me. These come from the merchants themselves. They call it affordable luxury. Now, affordable luxuries are Gucci handbags, right? Versus luxury, which is Birkins and above, right? So we're starting with the affordable luxury segment first. So you're going to see a lot of Birkins, LVs coming up soon. You're going to see a lot of live auctions. You can get, people are going to do $2 bits for LV bags, so you don't miss that, Hongbin. You can
Okay. Well, it looks like I found my new favorite platform. Well, thank you so much, Adlin, for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I mean, this is fun. If you get any cool Labubus, if you don't want it, if you have extras, sell it on Collektr.
I don't know if I'm going to sell, but I probably will be on the buyer side.
Looking forward to that too, Hongbin.
Thank you so much. That was Adlin Yusman, who is the founder and CEO of Collektr. This has been The Right Business with me, Hongbin Jeong.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.